It starts by e4, e5, d4, and after e takes d4, you're supposed to take back with the queen. But here, you just give him opponent c3. What? Ladies and gentlemen, you've entered into the Danish Gambit, where you don't just give away one pawn, but two. And here after bishop takes, you've got these long diagonals, which have got very big attacking opportunities. So in this video, I'm going to be showing the tricks and traps of this gambit, and also how to play it solidly if your opponent denies it. So let's start with the tricks and traps. Here, the first trap is activated after an aggressive opponent plays the move queen to g5. Here you might just be worried about this pawn. How can you defend it? Yes, there's no way to defend this pawn except bring back your bishop, right? No, you're wrong. Here you can just bring out the knight. But you're just saying, won't the queen take? Yes, the queen will take, but after rook to g1, here opponent has no choice but play queen to h3. Then you sacrifice the bishop. But you're just saying, what if my opponent takes? If your opponent takes, then it's stupid and dumb, because you are going to just play knight to g5, and you know what, the queen is yours. So your opponent will definitely not play that. What if my opponent plays the king here? It's just going to be simple. Here after that, you're just going to take with the rook, and after the bishop takes, and you're asking me why sacrifice the rook? Because after the bishop takes, you're going to take with the bishop, and this rook is for free. And if you actually notice, if your opponent just plays a dumb move like knight to e7, then here you just be winning after knight to g5. Here, what's the big threat? Can the queen just take here? No, you're wrong. It will be knight to e6 checkmate. Remember, your queen is in an open file. So here your opponent will be able to survive. And here, after this move, knight to g5, the best move is to play h6 and freely give, your opponent will freely give you his queen. That's the best move. That's how dangerous this gambit is. So okay, in this position, let's go back to the response here. After d takes c3, and these bishops are scoping, there's another response, and this response is knight to f6. What do you play? Just play e5. And if your opponent places knight to e4, you just take. You sacrifice your bishop, because you've got good attacking compensation. That's the good thing about this gambit, good attacking compensation. And here after the king returns, you just take, and you've got various moves like knight to f3, knight to d2. I prefer it because I want the scope to remain open, and you're actually going to notice long term you're going to have the advantage. This king is stuck in the center forever, so you're going to have to attack your opponent. So okay, now that you have looked at that, here after bishop to b2, there's another response. Here opponent can just play d6, and after you develop your knight, your opponent can pin you, which might look like a very cool move, but it has got very bad consequences. Why is it very bad? Because here you can just still sacrifice the bishop. After the king takes, you can just play knight to e5. You just say my opponent can just take, but you're forgetting this. The queen is gone, so your opponent cannot take. There's no choice but the king to walk back to its square of shame, and you just take the bishop, and you're completely winning. Why? Because this king is stuck in the center. That's the whole point. It's to take your opponent out of their comfort zone. So by doing that, you'll be actually giving yourself an advantage. Okay. After knight to f3, there's also another move here, which is actually bishop to e6. A lot of you, after this response, you'll be bored. You'll be like, what's the use of this gambit? Because now this bishop is no longer as powerful as it used to be. You can no longer sacrifice it. But what your opponent doesn't know is this: you can just take. You can just take. And after it takes back, might just say the position is now neutral. But after queen to b3, which is a pretty good move. And here the position might look very equal, but after the queen, most likely the most natural move is queen to c8. Like black is trying to hold this position together. Then here in this position, you can just play this move. Knight to g5. And now this pawn is getting attacked by two pieces. And here, if black becomes a very stupid dude and takes out his king, then you can just punish him by knight takes e6, queen takes e6, then queen takes b7, and this rook is dead. And after that, so are these pawns. So you'll be completely winning this position. So bishop e6, do not fear the response bishop e6, because you can still win in that position. So after takes bishop takes b2, here there can also be another response, which is one of the most annoying ones, which is knight to c6. But why is it so annoying? Because it's not a response that you're going to be expecting to attack your opponent. After your opponent plays knight to c6, you can no longer play the moves like e5. You can no longer be super aggressive. But we told you about that because of knight f3, and usually this move is played by opponent. The opponent plays bishop to b4, giving a check. Was now black is now becoming counter aggressive. You play knight here. Why play the knight here? Like, if it takes and you take, good for you. You still have this open scopes and this pawn is in danger. So here your opponent will probably not take and play knight f6, threatening to take this pawn. Then you just castle. And mind you, if the opponent takes here, it's a stupid move, because you can now just take. The pin no longer exists. And if it takes here first, then you take, then it takes here, then you can just play the move queen to d5. And I think you already see what's happening. Checkmate has been threatened, so that would be extremely stupid of your opponent. So here your opponent will most probably castle, and after that you just play knight to d5. Now you're not putting pressure on this knight with these two pieces, and also attacking this bishop. And here after knight takes d5, which is most likely going to be played, just take back, and after the knight escapes into the wrong square, then you're completely winning. After the move queen to d4, threatening checkmate. And here if knight f5 is played, you just play queen g4, and you're now in a very good attacking position, a threatening checkmate. And if your opponent just plays moves like g6, then you can just play your bishop to d3. And even if your opponent plays stupid moves like this, like try to attack, like if your opponent plays a stupid move like here, then you can just play your bishop to d3, and you're still going to be threatening, because if your opponent plays a stupid move like this, you're just going to take the knight. And if it takes back, then guess what? It's checkmate. So you'll be completely weak. So now that I've shown traps to you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you something else. After e takes d4, right? Then you give c3. c3. Here your opponent can play queen to e7, which is a rebuke. Your opponent is denying the gambit. Here you can just take, and after c takes queen takes e4 check, you can just play bishop to e3. And after bishop to b4, a lot of you might panic, but knight to c3 is okay. Defends really well. And after knight to f6, you just play the move knight to e2. And here, I don't like this, but it's the top engine line. The move that I prefer instead of knight to c2, knight here is actually queen here, queen to d2. And here, after knight c6, you can just play knight takes, not knight takes e4. Sorry. Here, you can just develop your knight. And after your opponent castles, which is most likely going to happen, you just play bishop to d3, attacking the queen. And after queen e6, you actually realize that you've got a nice position as white, which is pretty solid, and all of your pieces are out, and what's left is to castle. So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe maybe. But if you're interested in more gambits, click and watch the video showing up on your screen right now.